80% of piano teachers have thought about teaching groups, but what stops most is they just can't see how to make it work. And I get that, because that was me too. Well, today we're going to show you the model that we've used now successfully for like 30 years for teaching piano in groups. Hi, I'm Gillian.
And I'm Paul. But before we get started, you might notice I'm a different spot. I'm actually in Chicago at the 150th anniversary of MTNA's conference. And it is just so wonderful to be here. And Gillian, going to conferences is just so wonderful, isn't it?
It is. I think, before you go to these sorts of things, you think, oh, why am I going to be bothered? But I always come away thinking, I'm so glad I went, I'm so pleased I didn't miss it because, I think you just get this new breath of fresh air into your teaching, and it's well worth the time and effort and everything to do it. You've got a bit of a snippet of a presentation that you did, haven't you?
I do.
We're going to give you a sneak peek.
I do. This is a presentation that I'm actually going to be doing at Tim Topham's conference in April in Sydney. And this is a little snippet of a piece called Snowstorm that I was doing, a movement activity with the teachers. Let's have a watch of it. So what I was presenting was the learning activity before we actually get into playing. This piece is multimeter and it's in 7/8 and 4/4. And so kids have to be really on the ball when they're playing this. And this is it's an early to mid intermediate piece. And so I just wanted the teachers to really understand what the kids had to play and what that pre-learning activity was. And here's a video of those kids doing it.
That's so fantastic, isn't it? I think the biggest thing that I couldn't get my head around in groups was that I just couldn't figure out how to teach pieces to several students all at the same time. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're actually going to dive deep into our system for teaching a piece, this model that we've been using for 30 years for teaching a piece. It works, and it works. We're going to show you a fairly, well, it's not overly beginner piece. These children have been learning for about 30 weeks.
9 months.
Yep, 9 months. But as you saw with Snowstorm, they can continue to use this approach or this system, this process, well into other levels, advanced levels as well. So let's just talk about the pedagogy behind it, Paul.
Yes. So we really want to support our students' learning. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our ears. So really, really critical. But we're also going to sing and we're going to move and we're going to do this all along with a music track. And those music tracks are just so important because they get to hear the tempo, they get to hear the rhythms, they get to hear what the feeling of the music is and start hearing the patterns. We're going to show you a little snippet of a piece called Creepy Colin. Now, Creepy Colin is about a cockroach. And one of the things I always do at the start in the first week is tell a story. I usually ask the kids, do you have cockroaches at your place? And you see the kids go, oh yeah, we've got cockroaches this big. And the parents going, oh my gosh, what are those children saying? And it becomes a great, have a laugh in the class. So they've done this, and they've done the activities for this particular piece. And this is the second week they're working on. And so they're doing the movement activities, and you'll see them do the finger preparation activities before they go to the piano. We'll talk about those after we watch the video. Put your hand on this side first. Do,
re, fa, mi, do, re, fa, mi, do, re, mi, fa, sol, sol, sol.
stay on that hand.
Do, re, fa, mi, do, re, fa, mi, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, fa, mi, re, do, do, do.
Did you notice all the children were doing the actions and singing?
Yeah, well, those expectations have been set back at the beginning of the course about 9 months ago. Anyway, we'd worked hard on that. Once I knew that they could sing it all with the body solfege, we were able to do that finger preparation in the air. So it was just so smooth to move from doing it on their bodies to doing the finger preparation in the air, and it didn't disrupt the flow of the lesson. And so why are we doing this? It's because we want success when they get to the piano. And so they'd already sung it twice. And so I knew that they remembered the piece, and that one of those playings they'd actually done it with their fingers. So, and I could see that they'd all got it correct. And we want to make this learning super easy for the students. And so doing these sorts of things, it's so much less stressful for the teacher because the kids are ready to play at the piano, and you know that they can do it and they know that they can do it. And so when they go to the piano, they're going to get success. They're going to love it.
It also builds confidence, I think, as well. Like this is quite an anxious generation, and then doing these little mini steps in the way they build their own confidence up, I think. Yeah.
The next part is where I'm going to do a piano accompaniment so that children can play along and we can practice and make sure that we've got it really solidly before we do it with that music track. Where's your mum? Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we go. Pretty good. Let's just try that last bit for me again. So, fa, mi, re, so. All together. From the sol, fa, mi, re. Right hand only. 1, 2, ready, go. So, fa, mi, re, so. Together now. Good. Move once more to the opposite direction.
Let's just talk about the neurological side or the neuroscience behind actually moving kids to piano. Not only is it does it keep them kind of their attention span in track, it's actually good for their learning, isn't it?
Absolutely, because when you do something the same way but with a different location, it automatically becomes different because you've got a different location, and it just requires your brain to reset and do it again. So by changing piano, they have to find the right notes to start with. They have to think about what they're doing and put the correct hand in the correct space. All of those things really reinforce learning and help them to build that memory bank of how to play this song.
A robust memory set of neural pathways, isn't it? So the other thing that you do, and we absolutely insist on, is singing.
Absolutely. Well, I'm always saying if they can't sing it, they can't play it. So it's a twofold thing. When they sing, it's great for our oral development, and it's so hard to get kids to sing in private lessons compared to group lessons because they quite happily sing in a group lesson because there's other people singing as well. But it's also reminding them what notes to play. So they're actually telling
Telling
their
their fingers.
brain, yeah, exactly. It's great.
Yeah.
And so I always say, if you can't sing it, you can't play it. So let me hear you sing it.
And invariably, it's kind of really amazing when you're teaching a group that the ones that are singing beautifully like a bird, they're playing beautifully like a little expert. And then the ones that are kind of mumbling along there, they're the ones that are going, "Oh, where is everything?" So it's true. It is just so true. Okay, so what we saw then in this next stage, and this is kind of really, we have a 6-week process for teaching pieces, and this is in that kind of week 3, 4 phase, even perhaps 5, where we're, particularly for this piece, 'cause it's not an easy piece, where we're really kind of getting into it and drilling that and getting their performance level up. But you use the piano accompaniment a lot because we use tracks a lot in class as well. That's a really integral part of how we teach because it allows us to get around. But why? Can you tell everyone why you used piano right now at this particular point?
At this point, we want to be able to adjust that speed. So you want a bit of flexibility. Of course, when you're playing with a track, there's no flexibility. It's like a metronome. It's always going to be in time. But this time you might want to slow the last bit down because they need to slow it down. And then you can then build that up. So that's the tricky bit. So you can be a little bit more flexible with the tempo when you do that. And that really helps them. And also, they're starting to listen to you. They're listening and they're singing together, and it really, all those collaborative playing skills. Oh my goodness. When they start at this age, at this really young age, when they're teenagers, it's amazing. But it really does start here. And it's when you're doing activities like playing the piano to accompany them. It's a multi-pronged approach, really.
Yeah, exactly. And then actually when you were doing that, you were often cueing. Right hand now, left hand now, ready.
Hands to go.
So you're cueing them into what's coming up next, not because they don't necessarily know, is it? It's more because it
No,
gives them comfort. They go, "Oh yeah, I've got
that's
to do my
right.
right hand next year. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm expecting to do." This it reduces the panic, builds confidence, I guess.
It does. And the other thing is that, it's good for, if you do have parents in the room, which I do encourage you to have parents in the room for this particular age group. I will sometimes ask the parents to stand behind their child and just tap their child on the left or right arm when I call out. So, and that physical touch is so important because they know, oh, that's the hand I've got to use. So it really makes a big difference to do that as well. Sometimes parents need a hand with right and left.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that you do demonstrate so well, Paul, is economical use of words. I think sometimes we can all use 1,000 words to say something that we could perhaps say in 5. Well, that's probably an
Yes.
exaggeration, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I try to be as economical as possible. I know when I haven't been economical, especially when doing something like oral training at the piano, and I'll be talking and then, be a little girl goes, "I got a new dress." And you go, and that's when you go, I think I'm talking too much. I haven't actually got them engaged at the moment.
I've lost them.
Because they're thinking about something else. It's like, that's when I know that they're not engaged, and it's always when I'm talking.
Yeah. And I think one of the things I love about our groups is that we use a lot of musical cues as well. Once we train them, we do a little bit of training to start with, gradually over a few weeks. They know that when they hear this music, they need to come out to your piano our pianos. And if they hear this music, then they've got to move pianos. And we always play the same little thing all the time, don't we?
Yeah, those rituals are really fantastic because, goodness, when I was teaching a lot, I would teach I think I used to teach 7 classes on a Saturday, and you go, whew, that's a lot of classes to teach in a row. You can lose your voice very easily. So you need to protect your voice, shh, and tell it, be quiet, and all this sort of stuff. If you have musical riffs that you can use to play tell them what to do, whew, so much easier on your voice, and you don't have to raise your voice either.
And I think the parents are really impressed as well,
Yeah,
because you're kind of
yeah, they
using
love
this
it.
language of music. The language is music, and you're using it to communicate with them what they want to do, and they're like, "Oh, well, they did that." I always like that. Oh, when the parents sort of are quite surprised at that, I think they get a kick out of it as well. And now back to the accompaniment that everyone saw. You doing quite a lot of accompaniment this time. So yes, it's very important that we can, from a teaching aspect, it's really good to be able to adjust our speeds, because we've got ultimate control if we're accompanying. And that particular piece is tricky at them because we've got quavers in the right, and this is a little class. They're only 5-year-olds or something rather. So dexterity wise, they're finding it slow to kind of coordinate different fingers, different hands at the same time, fast. So
Yes.
yeah, that's the thing.
Those quavers, or eighth notes if you're in the US and Canada, they're the tricky points, and those things you can drill. And you might have noticed there's a little bit of messiness in there when they're all having a go at playing it by themselves. And I pulled it together and just gave them the introduction, like 4 beats in my left hand, and then played that going through again, and they got it.
Yeah. But I think it's really lovely for the kids and the parents to hear you play, to hear us as teachers play.
Yeah, I think the parents love it.
Yeah. I know a lot of teachers have a second piano for that because they like to accompany their students. Well, this is just taking that to a different level. Instead of accompanying one student, we're just accompanying the group.
It's wonderful. And this sets them up for being able to play with the track. And that's what we're going to have a look at right now. Here we go with the music. Are you ready? Come on, go. Right hands first. Remember to sing. Here we go. Ready? Big voices. Do, re, fa. Left hand.
Do, re, fa.
Right hand. Do, re,
Mi, fa.
so. Big voices. Do, re,
Fa. Mi,
left hand.
do, re, fa. Mi.
And a sol, fa, mi, re, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Come and sit on the floor down here. We've got enough time to do a couple of solos for today. Who thinks they're ready to do a solo? Big Colin?
Well, what I really loved about seeing that stage of this activity, so this would be week 5 or 6 now, because we're in performance mode. So every child will come out to our teacher's piano and play a little solo for their classmates. That's where our performance, little mini concert performances. And I love that. We'll come back to that in a minute. But let's go back to where Paul said, all right, we're going back and we're going to play this. And then you went, we're going to play our right hand. We're going to do you keep on, you have to say the same stuff over and over again, don't you? And then that child said, oh, yeah, I want to do a concert. Who wants to do a concert? Yeah, me. Oh, what piece am I playing? Like, we've only just been playing it.
It's like that Dory. They just keep swimming because they can't think of anything else. They're like, what are we going to do now?
Yeah. Crazy.
It just shows you. And this is a different class. So actually, that you can see at the end of this process. And this particular class, same age group, but they're just like away with the pixies sometimes. And kids, that's what kids are like. That's why it's so important to involve the parents as well, because you know what kids are like. I mean, you've got two boys.
Yeah.
Ask a kid when they come home from school, what'd you do at school today? Oh,
Nothing.
stuff. Yeah, it's like stuff or nothing. Yeah. So really important to really keep saying those things all the time, left hand, right hand, what have you.
Yeah.
And but using the track just gives the teacher the opportunity to be able to free themselves up from the piano and go and check on the students. But by this stage, after you've done the piano accompaniment, they're confident.
Yeah.
And so there's probably not a lot that you'll have to do because you have built this up so beautifully.
You
like
did
it's
the
just
hard
layer
work.
upon layer, a layer and layer. Yes.
You did the hard work back in that second video when you were really drilling
Yes.
the piano in this.
Yes. And you would still use the track, or just at a slower speed.
Yeah.
After the piano. But we wanted to show you the end of this process as well, where they're playing at the full speed.
Yeah, and that's no mean feat because they're little and they haven't got that little fine motor dexterity yet. So great job, Paul.
They were having a good time, but you know, I have never had. I've been teaching for over 30 years, and I've never had a kid who wouldn't come up and play a solo. And we hear all the time those about kids who are, you know, so anxious about doing performances. And I mean, maybe at the start they're a little bit anxious, but as they keep going, and this is what I love about group teaching, is they build skills that they wouldn't get from one-on-one situation because they're not getting those skills from you. They're learning it from other kids. And like, it's like you've got 8 more teachers because they'll go, they have little friends in the class and they go, oh, if Johnny can do it, then I can do it.
Yes.
And
it's the confidence,
and so,
isn't it? It's if I think I can, it's a little red engine. If I think I can, you know, I can.
I can, yeah.
So if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you can't. So I think this confidence thing. But I think the other thing is because they've sung it, because they've moved it, it is completely immersed in their body. They also know the patterns. They know we have to do the right hand, then we have to do the left hand, then we do the right hand. You know, like they know how this piece goes because they physically moved it, they've sung it. It's just all in them. So when they come up to play, I think one of the things I was really, really scared about as a kid is going up to play and then and it only happens because it happens to you, right? And then you just go completely blank. And then panic for the next time. Oh my God, what happens if I go completely blank again? And then it all gets but these kids don't ever go completely blank because they've just sung it, they've done all of this work beforehand. So it is in.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing as well.
Exactly. And you can see, you know, what the Snowstorm piece that we played at the beginning, they are going through exactly the same process, and they're doing it at that sort of, you know, intermediate sort of grade 2, grade 3 level. And it goes through all the way through because the kids stay in class. That particular class the Snowstorm class are doing grade 4 now, which is, you know, sort of mid to late or late intermediate, early advanced. And so they're actually getting up there and they're all still in class and that we're all still doing movement and before we start playing and singing it. And it's just built into them now. And of course, if you're not teaching group, all these strategies work for private lessons as well.
They do. They absolutely do. But if you are interested in group and you'd like to delve a little bit deeper into the science and everything around teaching piano in groups, we have a 3-part series coming up. It's free. Parts 1 and part 2 are pre-recorded and it's starting in April. So you can register now for it. Part 3 will be live. It'll be a live webinar and Q&A. So you'll have a chance to answer questions. So just make sure you register it now. As I said, it's free, and we'll send you part 1 on Tuesday, the 14th of April. So you've got a few days in there now to, depending on when you're listening to this. And if you're not listening to this, make sure you put yourself on the waiting list for Group Piano University. We only do our course, Group Piano Teaching course, twice a year. And so if you want to find out a little bit more about that when it's coming up next time, then just put yourself on a wait list, and we'll send you an invitation to come along and have a look at what's going on then. If you like today's episode, make sure you click the like and subscribe buttons. It helps the platform you're on know that you'd like to see more. Or you can join our newsletter list, and each time a new episode or blog is released, you'll receive it straight to your inbox. Just go to our website, pianoteachingsuccess.com, and click join the newsletter list there, and we'll make sure you never miss an episode or free resource again.
Thank you so much for joining us today on the Piano Teaching Success podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.